Today I want to show you how you can use serverless with node.js. Why should you care about serverless? Serverless is the easiest and cheapest way for you to share your project with the people that you know. Serverless is about the actual coding and only paying for what you use. What that means is you can make as many projects as you want and not worry about having unused servers. Servers are pretty expensive there and not doing anything. In this example we're going to use AWS because they have the best offering right now. It's pretty simple to sign up, and during the sign up you're going to need to have your phone number for authentication. Go to aws.amazon.com, click in the corner, create an AWS account, fill out this information. On the next page you're going to fill out your contact details, and on the third page you're going to confirm with your phone number. After you create your user, we're going to set up the credentials to allow your computer to talk to the Amazon API. The reason is we're not going to use the website to set up the app. We're going to use a tool called Up to do the hard work. After you're signed in, you will look at the Amazon Management Console front page. It can be quite overwhelming to see all these choices, but the thing we're going to do is we're going to say Services, then going to say IAM, and we're going to create a new user that we're going to use for the API access. Then we're going to say users. Then we're going to say add user. Specify a name. It can be your computer name, MacBook. Press this programmatic access. Then next. Then we're going to attach an existing policy directly. This is kind of permissions we're going to add to this user. Click administrator access. Scroll outside. Next. Then confirm that you add the administrator, click create user. Now you're going to have an access key and a secret access key. Now go to your terminal. We can see here we are standing in the home directory. We're going to make a folder called .aws. Inside that folder we're going to make a file called credentials. And then we can use code to open that file. Inside this file we're going to use our access key and secret, and they're going to be standing in this direction. We're going to change this to default and copy and paste this key here in here and our secret key to here. This name is so you can have multiple profiles on the same account. Save it and close it. I'm now standing in my project folder called Awesome Bear. I'm going to use code to open the project. You can see here I have a very simple node.js server. And the important thing is that I'm listening on the process.env.port. The tool Up is dynamically giving us a port that we need to listen on. We now need to install the tool called Up. Up is a tool that would do the heavy lifting for us. It will create a lot of the AWS infrastructure. It will also package our app and upload it and deploy the latest version. So go to up.docs.apex.sh, click installation, and then copy this command. This will install the up command. Run it in the terminal. When we have installed it, we can check the version and see that it's working. Next thing we need is a up.json file. This will contain all the config for deploying. But the only thing we read right now is a name property and the name of our app. Then we can go in our terminal and we can see what the default config is. So we can see here our name is Awesome Bear, and then all the other properties are something we can define. We can also see here regions is by default US West 2. we will leave it like that, but we can change it later if you want to deploy to another region like the EU or something like that. But let's go out again. And now we can simply say up.start. This will start a local web server that will start our app on port 60,780, but start the up proxy server on port 3000. So let's click here and open it in our browser. You can see it's working. That's good. You should really test it before you deploy it with up, so you're sure that it's working correctly. So now we can go back to our terminal and say up deploy. This command takes a little bit of time. It now completed. That was good. It would have failed if we didn't correctly set up our credentials like we did at the start. What it did was that it created an API gateway. It set up the Lambda function, and then it connected the API gateway with the Lambda function. We can now run up URL and see the result live. So let's go to this URL. Our app is now live, which is super awesome. We can see here we say hi serverless. Let's try to update that and deploy a new version again. So let's go to our editor. Let's go into our app here and say hi serverless world. Go to our terminal, say up deploy. You can see this time it only had to deploy the version and not the stack as before. Let's go and try to reload the page from before. You can see our app has already been updated. There were literally no downtime in between the new and the old version, and that's also one of the huge benefits. You did maybe see before that the URL had staging in the URL, and that is because the API gateway supports having different stages. You can see here the URL that it normally deploys to is staging. We also have a stage called production. You can deploy to that by typing up deploy production. You would normally deploy to staging first, test it there, and then deploy to production after you successfully tested in staging. This way your user will not experience that your app is breaking because you deployed something that did not work. So this is a really good practice. But if you're just testing, you can just use staging all the time and that will work fine. But let's try to deploy to production. To get the URL for production, you can either just change the staging to production or say up URL-s production. And see that it works. To see what actually went under the hood, we can go to the Amazon Management Console and we can remember to switch to Oregon, which is US West 2. You can also, quick tip, you can also look in the URL and see US West 2. And that's important because each region has its own resources. We can then go to our services and see the API gateway. As you can see here, an API gateway called the same name as our app called Awesome Bear. We can click on it and we can see the methods, which is a proxy that's going to a AWS Lambda function. Then we also have here the dashboard where you can see, for example, how many API calls there has been. We can switch to staging and we can actually see there has been 2 calls where the latency has been a little more than 1 second. You can also switch here or other settings, but that's basically it. We can then go to the Lambda function as well. Lambda. Then we can click on the awesome bear. We can also see here, for example, the qualifiers. This is where we can see what has been deployed. We can see that the staging is the version 2 and the production is version 1 still. This is also here where we can see monitoring and see how the different function has been called. So to sum up what we did, we signed up for Amazon. We downloaded our credentials to our computer. We downloaded the tool up. We configured our app to work with the app config. We tried to deploy our app to AWS API Gateway and Amazon Lambda, and we tried to redeploy our app. We deployed to the different staging called reduction, and finally we looked at the Amazon console to look at the different resources that we created. Wow, that was a lot. Now that you saw how easy it is to use serverless, I would really like to see your project use it in the future. I also left all the details in a blog post below that you can find in the description. Please leave a comment if you have a question and I will promise to reply. And also remember to subscribe because I will make more videos about serverless. With that said, see you in the next video. Hey!